And now the simulated baseball league results for Thursday, October 30, the third and final session of the day. Again, a 15-game schedule. And at the conclusion of this, we'll run through the standings, as this will complete 14 days and 42 sessions of games. Again, keep in mind, not every team is going to play every session, as the schedule runs very much like what you would see in the actual major leagues. We'll start with the White Sox and the Orioles, and Chicago wins it 6-2. Walsh the win, 2-3. Palmer the loss, 0-7. Folk save 12. Jose Abreu the story, 3 home runs. Number 7, 8, and 9 for Chicago. Oakland beat Cleveland, the final 7-4. Stewart 3-3 over Siebert 3-3. And Eckersley save number 12. For Oakland, John B. hits number 5 and Jimmy Fox hits number 11. No homers for Cleveland. Boston gets by Minnesota the final 8-4. Lowe the win, 4-3. And Tapani the loss, 3-4. Williams number 9, Rice number 7, Ortiz number 8 for Boston. And those are the only 3 homers in the game. The Pirates shut out the Tigers. 5-0 the final in this one. McLean the winner, 6-1, all the way on a 5-hit, 6-strikeout effort. And the Pittsburgh loss, Drabek 2-4, and no homers in that 5-0 Tiger win. Yankees and Cubs, New York wins 3 straight against Chicago, 5-3 the final in this one. Andy Pettitte 3-4 over Pete Alexander, 3-4. And Rivera save number 10. Home runs, believe it or not, none for New York and none for Chicago. I think it's pretty safe to say, when the simulated league is done, among the top 4 home run hitting teams will be the Cubs, the Yankees, and the Rockies. I think that's a safe bet. We'll see how close I am. Cardinals beat up on the Braves, the final 9-1. And for St. Louis, Wainwright 4-3 over Spahn of Atlanta, 3-3. Home runs for the Cardinals, McGuire hits number 17. And the Braves' only run was a homer. Chipper Jones hits number 6. The Phillies crushed the Giants, 11-2 the final in that one. Steve Carlton 5-2 over Bill Swift, 2-6. And Ryan Howard number 8, Gary Maddox number 2 in the home run department for the Phillies. And for San Francisco, Kevin Mitchell, who continues to swing a hot bat, hits home run 13. Reds beat the Dodgers the final 8-7. Winning pitcher for Cincinnati, Ted Abernathy in relief, 3-3. And Tom Niedenfuhr in relief took the loss for the Dodgers. Niedenfuhr drops to 2-1. Chapman saved 14. Chapman leads all the league in saves. Foster hit number 11 for Cincinnati. Butler number 7 for the Dodgers. The Royals beat the Mets 3-1. They split a 4-game series at New York. Kansas City has swept them earlier in a series there. Greinke the win, 4-2. And Matt Harvey the loss, 2-3. Is there a save? Yes, Holland, number 8 for KC. Royals get a home run from Otis, number 2. White, number 3. And the Mets did not get a home run in that 3-1 Kansas City win. Houston beats the Marlins in a slugfest, 12-6 the final. The Astros have taken 3 in a row at Miami. And the bullpens decided it. Danny Darwin, the win for Houston, 1-0. Insert your survival of the fittest joke here, as the bullpens had to hang on. Darwin 1-0. I am a science nerd and a sports buff, so I guess the two go hand in hand. The Marlin loss, Livan Hernandez 0-2. Home runs, Hidalgo number 7, Alou number 9 for Houston. And Sheffield number 11, Kelvin Veras number 1 for Miami. Veras unusually serves as the DH, as the Marlin roster is carrying 2 speedy second basemen. Veras from the 95 Marlins, Castillo from the 2000 Marlins. They have several power bats on their team, and so it was a positional issue, and thus Veras, a unusual type of DH for Miami in that game. Padres get by the Rays 8-4. Tyson Ross the win, 2-1. And Helix in the loss, 3-4. And there is no save. And Milton Bradley off the bench. It's number 2 for San Diego. And Iwamura number 3 for Tampa Bay. The Angels shut out the Mariners 5-0. Frank Tanana all the way, 3-hitter. The walking force striking out 3. Tanana the win, 3-3. And the loss to Eric Hansen, 2-5. And Gloss at number 6 for the Angels. And was that a slam? Yes, it was. Grand slam, Troy Gloss. When you see one player hit a home run in a lower scoring game like that, and they have a 4 in the RBI column, you always check the play-by-play of the box score to see if that was a slam. The Brewers crushed the Rockies at Colorado 16-6. No grand slams in this one. Ben Sheets the win, 4-4. Jason Jennings the loss, 1-4. And in the home run department, we'll start with the Brewers. Lucroy, the only home run, number 4. Brewers had more triples, 2, than home runs, 1. And do we have a cycle for the losing Rockies? Larry Walker in the box score, double, triple home run. Let's see what Walker did. Nope. Missed it by a single. Second player to do that. 3 for 5. Double, triple home run for Walker. The home run for Walker was number 14 to go along with triple number 2 and home run double number 10. And the home run for Walker, the only Rockies home run. 16-6, though, the Brewers win it. Toronto crushed Texas 15-2 in the final score in this one. No grand slams in this one either. Winning pitcher is Roger Clemens, 1-2. 8 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. Clemens 1-2. Yu Darvish the loss. Darvish now 1-3 for Texas. Home runs, Sean Green a pair, numbers 14 and 15. McGriff number 7, Barfield number 6 for Toronto, and Palmeiro number 4 for Texas. And finally, the Diamondbacks won a slugfest over the Nationals. The final was 12-7 Arizona. Randy Johnson 4-1 over Dennis Martinez, 3-2. Martinez, of course, was an Expo that qualifies him for the Nationals roster. Randy Johnson, yes, former traded Expo. That's one I think Dave Dombrowski wishes he had back. Look, you imagine it, because Johnson was not traded for anybody who contributed to the Expos in 94. Can you imagine how good they'd have been? Not that we would have been able to find out because of the strike. Can you imagine how good they'd have been if you added Randy Johnson to the 1994 Expos? Think about that. Home runs, and this one, that's going to be Matt Williams, number 7, a grand slam. And Miguel Montero, number 5 for Arizona. Ryan Zimmerman, number 4 for the Nationals. Let's look at the standings real quick. And again, the way this simulated league is aligned, there's a theme to it. So in the National League, the East is the 5 original American League teams that have not relocated. Yankees are now off to a 25-13 start, and they look like they might start to pull away here. Detroit 6 back at 18. White Sox 17-19. Cincinnati 17-20. Not Cincinnati. Boston 17-21. I saw red and jumped to the wrong league. So Boston 17-21. Cleveland is now 14-23, 10.5 back. Cleveland, remember, one of the dominant teams in both of the original incarnations of the simulated league. So you wonder if some of that will eventually even itself out. National League Central. This is the 6 big league franchises, 3 in each league, of the originals that have relocated. Some of them twice. Braves on top, 22-16. Athletics right behind them, 2 back. Orioles trail by 2.5. Giants by 3. Dodgers by 3.5. The Twins by 4. That division so far is proving to be, top to bottom, probably the most competitive of all. National League West is the 5 original NL franchises that did not relocate. That's where the Reds are. They're in first at 22-16. Cardinals have moved within 1. The Phillies trail by 3. The Pirates trail by 5. And the Cubs now trail by 7.5 at 14 and 23. American League is the expansion era teams. The Eastern Division is the 5 1960s expansion clubs that have not relocated. Anybody who's been following these updates all along, when you hear me talk about this, you've heard that before. Angels keep on rolling. Now, in the old league, which had some of the original franchises with some of their historically great players, the Angels were one of the teams that struggled mightily. They're off to a 24-12 start. Be interesting to see how the interleague play plays out between these 2 leagues. And in fact, I'm going to chart the total win-loss breakdown for all interleague play between the expansion era league and the originals league, and see how that plays out. I'm very curious how that's going to play. We'll find out. Angels 24-12. The Astros are 21-16, and they trail by 3.5. The Mets, which at one point were red hot and they were the talk of the standings the first few days, they have fallen back to 500 at just 20-20 after getting off to a very good start. The Padres, who had gotten off to a very cold start, are now 18-20, and they have gotten within 1 of the Mets. And part of the reason the Mets were so hot early and the Padres were so cold, the Mets killed the Padres. Royals are 16-22, 9 back, and they're in last place. The Central Division of the American League. This is the 2 1977 expansion clubs and the 3 from the 60s that have relocated. Toronto 23-13. Brewers trail by 2.5. Nationals trail by 5. They're 18-18. Rangers trail by 9. Seattle trails by 11. They're 13-25. Finally, the Western Division of the American League side of the alignment in the simulated league. This is the 4 1990s expansion clubs. Diamondbacks now in first at 20-17. The Marlins 1.5 back. The Rays are exactly the same. They're both 19-19. Colorado is 15-22, 5 back. Rockies are starting to fade after a early good start to their first 4 or 5 games. The other 3 have basically traded back and forth atop of the division lead, with at best a record of about 3 to 4 games over 500. That division, even with a focus on division play probably will end up being the weakest in terms of the record for the winner, simply because they're the 4 expansion teams from the most recent period of expansion 15 to 20 years ago. The division over on the other side that's very competitive, which has 6 teams in it, as we're using a 1998 to 2012 style alignment, might end up having a weaker winner, but that's only because they're going to keep beating up on each other and be a war of attrition over there. So we'll see how that plays out. Wild card, let's look at this from a wild card perspective for the first time. The Cardinals would be your wild card, and the way What If Sports does this, they still only have one wild card. They haven't yet put together the formula, which would be the 5x5x5 on both sides with 2 wild cards. Right now, the Cardinals have the top spot for the wild card on the side of the original teams, just ahead of the Athletics. And on the expansion era side, a little more separation between the top teams in the divisions there. The Astros and the Brewers are both 21-16. That's interesting because they both historically are the only 2 teams to switch leagues. They're both 21-16. They own the tie for that spot. The Cardinals on the other side, 21-17 with the wild card. That'll wrap it all up. Thursday, October 33rd, and final session of the day. More later.